So, you know that article you sent me, 5 tips for enhancing your focus and concentration.
Yeah.
Well, first off, the irony of trying to find the focus to read an article about focus, it's not lost on me.
Uh-huh, right. It's like I'd love to, but my brain's already 3 tabs over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, this article, it gets it. It acknowledges the war zone our attention spans are up against.
Yeah.
And then it actually gives some pretty solid tactics for, winning a few battles.
What I liked is that it doesn't go all mystical or anything, like no chant this mantra under a full moon stuff. It's very practical. Starts right in with the environment we create for ourselves.
Yeah, the first tip is eliminate distractions.
Yeah.
Which, okay, on the surface, duh, but then it goes deeper.
Oh, absolutely, because we're so used to thinking distraction equals loud noise. But this article, it's saying anything that yanks your train of thought off the rails, that's the enemy.
So, visual clutter. My desk is basically a testament to that principle right now.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm the same way. Can't have a messy workspace, throws me completely off. But then there are the less obvious ones too, like you ever get sucked into planning your dinner while you're supposed to be writing a report?
All the time. Or the classic getting lost down a rabbit hole of online articles.
Yep, those mental tangents, those are distractions too. And then, of course, the ever-present enemy, notifications.
Don't even get me started. My phone is like a dopamine dealer constantly tempting me with those little red bubbles.
And that's where the article's next tip comes in. Time blocking.
Okay, so before people tune out thinking, oh, scheduling, not for me, the article actually addresses that.
It's more about intentionality than rigidity.
Yeah. Like, your brain seems to respond differently when you've made a conscious decision about how you're going to spend your time versus just letting it get eaten up by whatever's loudest.
Totally. It reminds me of Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time allotted. Ever notice that?
Oh, 100%. Give me an afternoon to do a task that should take 20 minutes, and somehow I'll find a way to make it take the whole afternoon.
Exactly. But the flip side is that even short bursts of focused work can be surprisingly productive. That's where things like the Pomodoro technique come in handy.
Okay, see, I've heard that name thrown around, but honestly, I've never actually looked into it.
It's super simple, really. You work for 25 minutes, take a short break, and repeat. The timer acts as a sort of commitment device.
Interesting, like you're making a mini deal with your brain.
Precisely. Just focus for the short chunk of time, and then you can have a break.
I like it. Okay, so what's next on the focus-boosting agenda?
Well, get ready to roll your eyes because the article then suggests mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Okay, I'll admit, that one always throws me a little. It seems a bit too, woo-woo for something as practical as focus.
I get it. But the way the article explains it actually makes a lot of sense. It's about training your attention, like a muscle. You notice when your mind wanders off, and you gently guide it back.
So less about emptying your mind and more about
Yeah.
wrangling it back on track when it inevitably bolts.
Exactly. Like doing reps at the gym, but for your brain. And you know what? They even suggest a super simple exercise you can try right now.
Oh, I'm always up for trying things. Hit me.
Okay, ready. 3 deep breaths. But here's the key. Really focus on each sensation. Feel the air going in, feel your chest rise, feel the air going out. It's amazing how much that can bring you back to the present moment.
See, I need that because by the time we even get to the third tip, my mind's already making a to-do list for later.
Well, speaking of which,
Oh no, is it break time already?
not quite. But the next tip is about breaks. Permission to pause, guilt-free.
Where do I sign up?
Right. The article makes a great point. Our brains aren't machines. Breaks aren't slacking off. They're essential for recharging.
Yes, and it's not like we're advocating for just scrolling through social media for an hour, right?
Yeah, exactly. The article actually calls out social media as a counterproductive break.
Good. Because if constantly switching between tasks is the problem, then social media is like the ultimate culprit.
Totally. The article recommends restorative activities. A short walk, some light stretching, even just closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths.
Okay, that I can get behind. All right, we're on the final tip. What's the grand finale? The last one is about clear goals.
Which, when you think about it, ties back to the very first point about distractions.
Wait, yeah, it's like without a clear goal, no wonder we're so easily pulled in a million directions.
Exactly. If you don't know where you're going, any path will do, right?
Sadly, that's kind of how I live my life. No, but seriously, how does the article recommend we get better with goals?
It gives a classic framework. Make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
The good old SMART goals. Always a classic for a reason, I guess.
Right. There's a reason those principles stick around. But I think the key takeaway, even beyond the individual tips, is this.
How's that?
Even if your main goal is simply to improve your focus overall, take the time to define what that actually looks like for you.
I like that. It's not enough to just want something. You've got to define it.
Exactly. So, my question to everyone listening is, what's one small change, just one, that you can make today based on everything we've talked about? It might sound small, but trust me, those small changes, they add up.
Couldn't agree more. All right, everyone, go forth and focus. And hey, if you find yourself getting distracted later, don't worry. We've all been there. Just hit rewind, and we'll be here to guide you back on track.